Back here in the Georgia Dome, Mike Smith trying to get his team #1. They can clinch the NFC South and home field throughout the playoffs if they win. Last time they won a division title was in '04, and if they win today, they'll go to 13-3, second best record in their history. And John Fox, it was no secret that he would not be back as head coach, concluding his 9th season, and that record there includes postseason. Falcons have won the toss, and Eric Weems, who is a Pro Bowl selection as a specialist, one of 7 starters for the Falcons, and Reese Lloyd from Australia kicking off, and the game is underway. And Weems returning from the 3, and he's tackled at the 23-yard line, and that's where Matt Ryan will go to work. And of their 7 Pro Bowl starters, 5 of them are the backs and receivers, and Michael Jenkins has to feel a little left out looking at that list right now. And they have stars in almost every category there, and their offensive line, and maybe underappreciated, Tyson Clabo is an alternate, and Todd McClure continues the streak, 144th straight start. And Matt Ryan, 19-2 in his career here. First down, Ryan's pass, and it's incomplete and intended for Jenkins.
Take a look now at the Carolina Panthers defense, led up front by Charles Johnson, who stepped in for Julius Peppers. 11.5 sacks so far, 6 straight games with a sack. In the middle, John Beeson, formerly a Pro Bowler there, played the weak side much of the year. He's back in his natural habitat. And at corner, Captain Mutterland starting for Chris Gamble. Richard Marshall, their most consistent corner all year long.
2nd and 10 from the 23. Jason Snelling is to the left of Ryan. And Ryan with the quick pass and making the catch. A difficult play by Jenkins. And Michael Jenkins has a first down out to the 40, getting 18 yards with Sherrod Martin, the free safety, on the coverage.
Roddy White is without a doubt their #1 receiver, but they need help. Michael Jenkins has been providing that since returning from a shoulder injury, which had him miss the first 5 games of the season. Look at this catch. Ball's on the back part of his body. Should have been in front of him. He turned back and hauled it in.
And the hurry up quickly from the 40. Turner back in. Empty backfield, and the quick goes out to Roddy White. And the Panthers are there, and a pickup about 3.5 yards with James Anderson, number 50, making the stop.
Interesting start for the Atlanta Falcons. I expected this team, who loves to run the football, got a right side of the offensive line that likes to maul people, to come out and establish a tone early. Instead, Mike Mularkey coming out, throwing the football, trying to get the Carolina Panthers on their heels early.
And maybe they're trying to set up the run by loosening up that defense. 2nd down and 6. Ryan looking for a receiver, had time. Now he's going to take off, and he'll get the first down as he crosses midfield and gets into Panther territory, getting 7 yards to the Carolina 49.
Really nice pocket presence by Matt Ryan. Doesn't see what he wants downfield, flushes, and as he comes to the sideline, Brian Finneran had become a blocker. He was supposed to be a receiver on the play, realized his quarterback was scrambling, turned into a blocker on the sideline, and allowed him to pick up the first down.
Falcons have been known for their long time consuming drives, and they're starting off in that fashion here. Hand off to Turner. Michael Turner to the 33. And it's C.J. Wilson and Sherrod Martin, 2 secondary players, bringing down Turner after he picks up 16 yards to the 33 of the Panthers.
Dick, you noted that the first 4 plays were passes that were called. Maybe it was to loosen them up for the run. The first called running play, 16 yards, as we see Justin Blaylock, number 63, leading for Michael Turner for the big gain.
Again, they empty the backfield. Here's Jenkins on the short pass and brought down nicely, and a good play made by Greg Hardy, the rookie from Ole Miss, and a loss of one for Atlanta.
That's a win for the Carolina defense in this fashion. The play was diagnosed. Matt Ryan had to double pump on trying to throw an inside screen to a wide receiver. If you have to double pump an inside screen, chances are the play will not be successful.
Second down and 11 in the pocket, and out of the backfield is Jason Snelling, and he'll drive for a first down, getting inside the Panthers' 20-yard line. A 15-yard play. Anderson and Beeson finally bring down Snelling, so valuable as a runner and as a receiver.
And this is what they missed when Jason Snelling was out to line up with a hamstring injury. His versatility, he can pass protect, he can come out of the backfield and catch the football, he can be the primary runner, and look at him now, knowing where the marker is and pick up the first down. And
wide open he was. 8th in the league are the Falcons in the red zone. 8th play of the drive from the 19, and this pass incomplete. Flag is down. Roddy White was the intended receiver, and the first penalty of the game, John Jarry, the referee. Barry.
Offside. Defense. Number 76 in the neutral zone at the snap. 5-yard penalty. First down.
John Fox, and only Jeff Fisher, Bill Belichick, and Andy Reid have been with their teams longer than the 9 years John Fox has been with the Carolina Panthers. And with that penalty, it'll be first down and 5 from the 14th. Here is a play action pass. Ryan incomplete, trying to go to the money guy, Tony Gonzalez, in the red zone. And that will bring up a 2nd and 5.
Watch John Beeson, 52, as he has to make up ground. I'm wondering if he almost ended up in the line of sight of Matt Ryan and he wanted another step and a half for Tony Gonzalez to clear open, and tried to thread it in there and threw the pass a little bit low.
2nd down and 5. Michael Turner back in at tailback. And the quick out to Roddy White as flags fly.
Should be a free play for the Falcons. That could be a first down on jumping by Carolina, I believe.
Offside. Defense. Number 68 in the neutral zone.
That's exactly the story, and it was another rookie, Andre Neblett. Ron Meeks, the defensive coordinator for the Panthers, who will have a new staff next year, as well as the #1 pick in the draft, even if they win this game. So it'll be 1st and goal now at the 9. Here's Turner. Michael Turner stopped at about the 6-yard line, and it was John Beeson coming up, as well as C.J. Wilson, and about 3.5 to 4 yards on the play. And it'll be 2nd down and goal. Great career for Michael Turner against the Panthers. Talked about the 112 in the last game, and 4 of his 8 starts have been 100-yard games against Carolina.
Now they've got him broken out of the backfield. Michael Turner in the slot right there, suggesting pass all the way for the Falcons.
Many audibles have been called on this series by Atlanta. 2nd and goal from the 6. Here's Ryan. Fires. Touchdown, Tony Gonzalez. Great patience that time by Matt Ryan, waiting for Gonzalez to get free, and the Falcons score on their first series.
Now watch Tony Gonzalez run his route. As a stick nod route, tries to get to the middle, but continues to make himself available for his quarterback. And for Matt Ryan, understanding exactly where the line of scrimmage was, uses his movement but doesn't cross it before firing the touchdown to Tony Gonzalez.
And you couldn't ask for a more perfect start for the Falcons. And Matt Bryant with the extra point. So on the 10th play of the drive, the 6th touchdown catch of the year for Tony Gonzalez. And the Falcons start out on what they hope will be a clinching day in many respects on their first series.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
See the Falcons getting a little more coaching on the sidelines. Chris Silpo talking to Tony Gonzalez. How about that movement by Tony Gonzalez to catch the football for the touchdown? Every day, 150 passes a day, none of them caught standing still by Tony Gonzalez. He wants every movement to mimic what he does in a ball game.
And he matches his uniform number with that 88th touchdown catch of his career. Here is Mike Goodson returning for the Panthers, loses the ball. And let's see if the Panthers look like they had the last best shot at it. And we'll see whether they held on. Atlanta had a couple of shots at it. And the Panthers do recover. No one knocked the ball away. He just saw it slip away, and Jeff King alertly recovered for the Panthers.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
The Atlanta Falcons had the best shot at this football early. Look at number 21, Christopher Owens. He's got it, unable to hold on to it before Jeff King alertly hauls it in for Carolina to give them an opportunity.
Close call. Panthers will start from the 15. And here is Jonathan Stewart, who maybe gets a yard on the first offensive play after nearly 5 minutes of ball control for Atlanta. Let's take a look at the Panthers backs and receivers. Jonathan Stewart, by the way, rushed for 133 yards 3 weeks ago. 2 rookies, Brandon LaFell and David Geddes, with Steve Smith out of there. And Jordan Gross makes the Pro Bowl on a team that has won only 2 games. But there's Steve Smith, unable to play. And that's a big break for the Falcon defense. Here is Stewart once more, and not much there, maybe a yard and a half.
Last time the Atlanta Falcons played the Carolina Panthers, Jonathan Stewart ran for 133 yards. They want to control him with John Abraham, their Pro Bowl defensive end, and Jonathan Babineau, one of the most underrated defensive tackles in the game. Curtis Lofton runs everything from the middle. Stephen Nicholas stepping in for Sean Weatherspoon at outside linebacker. And in the secondary, Brent Grimes had what I consider a Pro Bowl year at the corner.
3rd and 6. Mike Goodson, the running back. Jimmy Clausen, and here comes the blitz. Picked up, and the pass incomplete, trying to get it to David Geddes. And for a game break, here's Kurt Menefee.
With a win, Pittsburgh's the number 2 seed in the AFC. Troy Polamalu started, picked off Cleveland on the 2nd play of the game. Very next play, Ben Roethlisberger and Mike Wallace hook up for a 56-yard score. It's 7-0 Pittsburgh on top of Cleveland. And by the way, Dick and Charles, New Orleans leads Tampa Bay Tampa Bay leads New Orleans, I should say. The Bucs up 3-0 in the first.
Jason Baker with the kick, and Eric Weems at the 35. And he'll give the Falcons good field position as he's tackled at the 48-yard line by Robert McClain. Atlanta leading 7-0, gets the ball once more.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Jeep. By UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun.
Kurt Menefee informing us that the Buccaneers leading the Saints 3-0. The Falcons will, of course, clinch home field advantage and the division title if the Saints lose. They'll do it, of course, with a victory as well. First down on their 48. Michael Turner. And Turner picking up maybe a yard. Greg Hardy making the tackle. Matt Ryan, by the way, with that TD toss to Tony Gonzalez, marking the 15th straight game that he has thrown a touchdown pass. Talk about consistency, Charles.
The connection that they've established and Matt Ryan continuing to develop, which has led him to a Pro Bowl. He's about to break their completions record for a season set by Jeff George. He's been remarkable all year long.
Second down and 8. Play action on a rollout. Pressure in. And there's Gonzalez, who is tackled quickly by James Anderson. No gain on the play, and that will bring up 3rd down and 8. And Tony Gonzalez in uniform, and there you see his brother who's there with the Gonzalez family, and you'd almost think that he caught the touchdown pass and then said, I'm getting into civilian clothes.
And his brother looks in good enough shape to come out of the stands and play if something happens to Tony.
Sure
just throw the uniform on him and you can keep rolling.
Wonder if he can play basketball as well as Tony does. 3rd down and 8 from midfield. Matt Ryan gets time, and it's caught by Michael Jenkins, and it'll be a 1st down. Big 3rd and long play, getting 16 yards to the 34 of the Panthers.
And these types of plays bode well for the Falcons as they head towards the playoffs, because everyone knows Roddy White will be the #1 target on most pass plays. So teams will try to take him away and limit him. So who's got to step up? Michael Jenkins does. Harry Douglas does. Brian Finneran does. Today, Michael Jenkins off to a nice start.
From the 34. Ryan going underneath, completes to Finneran, and Finneran close to the 1st down, maybe short by a half a yard, and John Beeson on the coverage.
And the run game was what I thought would be established early. Kind of get the mad out from Monday night. Let these guys smack people. But Mike Mularkey sees the box count of Carolina. A lot of people in close to the line of scrimmage. He wants to get a lot of those guys out of there before he turns Michael Turner and Jason Snelling loose. He's relying on Matt Ryan to do that.
2nd down and 1. And there's Ryan on the slant to Roddy White, and a 1st down near the 10. Captain Munnerlyn playing in place of the injured Chris Gamble, but a 12-yard pickup on a tough-to-stop slant, and the Falcons are threatening again.
Chris Gamble's a 6'1", 200-pound corner. He's not in there. Captain Munnerlyn, 5'8", 186, going against Roddy White, who's 6 foot, 212 pounds. A very physically run route by Roddy White to get inside and make the catch for a 1st down.
Now on the Panther 13, and here's Turner, loses the ball. And it's recovered by C.J. Wilson of the Panthers inside the 5. And James Anderson knocking the ball away from Michael Turner. And the Panthers get the ball back deep in their own end.
And Monday night, Michael Turner lost a costly fumble at the goal line going in against New Orleans that cost them some points. Good play for the Carolina Panthers.
Michael Turner had 430 carries without losing a fumble. That was his 2nd in the last 2 games. And now starting from the 3. And a flag is down.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 98. 5-yard penalty. 1st down.
Jamal Anderson, and a 5-yard penalty.
And Atlanta has everything going their way defensively. Bad field position. Rookie quarterback who hasn't been very accurate all year long, so you know they don't really want to throw the football. Here's a chance for them to attack. Jamal Anderson helped them get off the hook a little bit, making it 1st and 5, though.
On the 8, and here is Jonathan Stewart. And Stewart is tackled by Jonathan Babineau after a short gain. And right now, let's bring in the 3rd member of our team, Jamie Maggio.
All right, Dick, thank you very much. Well, earlier you talked about what Carolina is playing for with a 2-13 record. Well, I spoke to assistant head coach and running backs coach Jim Skipper before the game. He said this team is playing for pride. This is a league where you need to produce, and these guys look to do that today. He also said that while no one is verbalizing it, they are looking to win for Coach Fox. And while the Falcons scored on that opening drive, this game just got a little harder for Carolina.
No question, but they got the ball back, and on 2nd down and 7, this pass a little bit too far for David Geddes, incomplete after the 2-yard loss. So once again, Jimmy Clausen having a rough go of it, as his team is. And
Dick, this is one you have to hit, all right? I don't care if you're a rookie or a 10-year vet. Look how open David Geddes is. You're not going to be that open 9.9 plays out of 10 in the NFL. Here's your opportunity. That's a missed shot for Carolina.
You're absolutely right, Charles. And with Steve Smith out of there, there is Geddes. Armonte Edwards, a rookie who hasn't played much, from Appalachian State, number 10. is in there on 3rd down and 7. There he is, and the pass knocked down and nearly picked off by Croy Bierman, and he would have had a walk-in touchdown.
Love the series for the Falcons. They jumped on 1st and 10, made it 1st and 5. That wasn't good, but from that point on, absolutely smothered the Carolina Panthers, and the Panthers helped them, but not by not hitting a wide open receiver. So now field position tilts again. The Falcons should get the ball in great shape to start their 3rd drive of the game.
So not a walk-off touchdown, but a walk-in touchdown in this case, as Baker, about a yard from the back of the end zone, kicking to Eric Weems, looking for great field position for the Falcons. Fields it at his own 40. Gets into Panther territory. Here's Eric Weems with just a kicker waiting. Touchdown, 55 yards. First punt return touchdown of the year for Eric Weems, who has a kickoff return of 102 yards.
And the blocking was so good that he didn't have to make a lot of shimmy and shake. He was able to hit it and go right from the beginning. And then at the end, just him and Jason Baker, and he knows if he lets the punter get him, he'll never hear the end of it. Touchdown, Falcons.
And now Matt Bryant makes it 14-0 in favor of the Falcons. And Eric Weems, who is going to the Pro Bowl as a specialist on the 55-yard punt return for touchdown, and the Falcons leading 14-0. Eric Weems with his first career punt return for a score, returned a kick 102 yards against Tampa Bay for a TD, and this is why he's going to the Pro Bowl, Charles. Not as necessarily as a returner, but as a cover man, a specialist.
So far this year, 16 tackles on special teams for Eric Weems.
And Michael Kanan kicking off, and Mike Goodson 3 yards in the end zone, running it out for the Panthers. Giving ground. And getting out beyond the 10, where Eric Coleman brings him down. 16-yard return.
So you want to see what it's like to cover? After you've been a kick returner, this is why you're a Pro Bowl specialist. And Jordan Sen locking up on him at the end of the play and taking down Eric Weems, but he's going to get a little help from his friends at the end.
So after the long run for the score, then he has to run down on the play, and Coleman slowing up Goodson. First down, and here is Jonathan Stewart with a carry, but the Falcons don't let him get away. No gain on the play thanks to Thomas Daku, the free safety.
And with the Panthers' inability to hurt you throwing the football, at least that's the belief, and that's been the evidence so far this year with Jimmy Clausen at quarterback. Full attack mode for Brian Van Gorder's defense. Load up against the run, fit in all the proper areas, and try and make big plays since you've got Carolina on the run.
105 yards for Atlanta, 1 for Carolina. Second down and 10. Clausen looking to throw, and it's caught by King, the tight end, and he's going to lose a yard on the play, and time for a game break. Let's check in again with Kurt Menefee.
Well, after scoring the game-winning touchdown against the Falcons, New Orleans' Jimmy Graham gets the go-ahead touchdown for New Orleans today against Tampa Bay. 6-yard play, but he's now left the game with an injury as well. Saints trying to win and hope that Carolina can come back in your contest. Dick and Charles.
All right, thank you, Kurt. So the Saints need the win and an Atlanta loss to get the division title and home field advantage.
Last time in this situation, Brian Van Gorder blitzed.
3rd and 11, and the pitch to Goodson, put down immediately by John Abraham. Boy, did he diagnose that perfectly, and no gain on the play, bringing up 4th down.
Part of being a Pro Bowl player is the ability to not just do one thing well. We know John Abraham rushes the passer as well as anyone in the league. But on that play, diagnosed the shovel pass, came off of his responsibility, and put down the runner.
And this is what the good teams do. They don't give you a chance here. And Weems been a busy man here in this first quarter. Back there again to return the punt from his 40. And this time gets stopped at the 47 by Abdul Hodge. Well, hungry for laughs? Then don't miss the grand opening of Bob's Burgers, a delicious new addition to Sunday's animation domination. Entertainment Weekly raves a comedy this well done is very rare indeed. Bob's Burgers series premiere 1 week from tonight after an all-new Simpsons on Fox.
Speaking of Fox, there is John Fox, his last game as the Carolina Panthers head coach. He knows that the team has hung together for him all year long. He knows that they want to play for him. But right now they're being overwhelmed by a Falcons team that's focused on finishing their goals too.
First down from the 46, Matt Ryan completes it to Tony Gonzalez. And Matt Ryan, who's going deeper in this game than he has recently, to the 32-yard line.
Watch Gonzalez running this route, gets out, free release, again, a stick nod, outside stick, nod back to the inside. Ryan puts it perfectly on him, and Tony Gonzalez with a big catch for a first down.
1:40 remaining in the first quarter, and a first down on the 32 of the Panthers. Here's Turner. And Turner is tackled from behind by James Anderson. In their first meeting just 3 weeks ago, the Falcons came out and took a 17-0 lead and ultimately won 31-10 at Carolina.
And Dick, when I think of these playoff teams, the Falcons one of them, how precocious are these quarterbacks coming out of college now? Matt Ryan's third year and already full command of the offense. The game is in his hands. He's calling the game right now in their no huddle.
Pass caught by Harry Douglas. Douglas on the move down the sideline. Knocked out of bounds right near the 10-yard line. First catch of the game by Douglas, and it was Godfrey and Anderson, but a pickup of 19. And with under a minute to play in the quarter, the Falcons knocking on the door for more.
The scouting report on Harry Douglas is he's an explosive player. 2009 knee injury robbed him of the season. They always say it's the second year after knee surgery when you get your full burst back. Good block by Michael Turner. Harry Douglas starting to get stronger as the season is concluded.
And a first down at the 11. Talking about quarterbacks and what it means for Atlanta, that's what the Panthers are looking for next year, as Michael Turner with the carry. First man to hit him was Charles Godfrey, and a gain of 3 yards, and that should be the last play of the first quarter, as the Panthers already clinching the #1 pick, and it appears that they will go for the quarterback. The passing game has been a glaring weakness for this team this year. That's the end of the first quarter with the score. The Falcons 14, Panthers nothing. We'll continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Start of the second quarter as you look at the offensive leaders, and already pretty solid numbers by the Falcons with Matt Ryan 11 of 13. Michael Turner 6 for 25, and Tony Gonzalez with 3 catches including a TD. And now the Falcons with a second down and 8 from the 9-yard line, and a penalty flag down, and false start
offense
against
Sam
Baker.
Second down.
Well, the story of this game right now, besides Atlanta coming on strong, is the fact that Carolina hasn't gotten past their own 19, and 5 of their 9 offensive plays have been either for 0 or negative yardage. Not a good sign.
And when you're 2-13, you miss opportunities. They had a chance for a big one with David Geddes wide open, Jimmy Clausen unable to connect. That just makes the Atlanta Falcons that much bolder on defense in attacking them.
And now the Panthers trying to keep the Falcons out of the end zone again. Second down and 13. And here is Ryan's pass. Gonzalez can't keep it, and Beeson doing a good job hanging with him. And the ball knocked away, bringing up third down and 13.
I know that one was incomplete, but that throw was a confidence throw. And what I mean by that is you've got the defender with his back turned, never sees the football. So Matt Ryan believes he's got a Pro Bowl tight end. I'm going to put it there and let him make a play on the football, which makes John Beeson's play that much more impressive in knocking it away.
Panthers defense has been on the field too much this year, and in this game, 10 minutes to 5 minutes, time of possession edge for the Falcons. 3rd down and 13. Here's Matt Ryan, and he goes underneath to Snelling. Jason Snelling tackled at the 4, and that will bring up 4th down and about 3 with Marcus Hudson coming up to make the play.
Everyone's talking, everyone's screaming to go for it right here. Everybody's talking about go ahead and go for it. And I think Mike Smith loves going for it on 4th down. Remember, they're 11 of 13. And I believe that he's going for it here, Dick, because in their last game, he didn't go for it with less than 3 minutes to go, never got the ball back again. He's kind of answering the critics, the crowd, and himself a little bit by going for it here.
And why not 11 of 13 for the year? 4th and 3 out of the shotgun. Here's the pass, incomplete to Roddy White. And John Fox exhorting his team's defense, holding the Falcons out of the end zone, will get the ball back on downs, trailing the Falcons 14-0.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Triple Hops Brewed Miller Lite. Taste greatness. By Toyota. And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
The 4th down gamble by the Atlanta Falcons. Unable to connect. John Fox happy that his defense hung in there.
Not really much of a gamble, was it?
Really, Mike Smith playing monopoly money there. Field position, rookie quarterback, an offense he doesn't believe can hurt his defense.
Jonathan Stewart stopped by Mike Peterson. 3-yard gain, and not worried at this point of the Panthers offense, and here's why. 3 and out on their first 3 possessions.
The only thing they're worried about defensively, the Falcons, is if they don't what they call fit in the proper places in the run game. In other words, everyone in the proper gaps to take away running lanes, because that's how the Carolina Panthers gashed them in the last game for a few big runs.
2nd down and 8. And there's Clausen with a short drop. And this one is caught by Brandon LaFell. And so finally getting out of their shell, so to speak, are the Panthers. And a gain of 28 yards as rookie Brandon LaFell makes the play down the sideline.
Let's see, what's the jam? No jam at all. Dante Robinson gets no hands on Brandon LaFell, so he's wide open. That makes it very difficult on the safety, Thomas Deku, to get over and make a play. Excellent throw by Jimmy Clausen, finding LaFell in the hole.
LaFell and Geddes ranking 3rd and 4th among NFC rookie wide receivers. And a 1st down, and the handoff here is to Jonathan Stewart, and Stewart carries out to the 41-yard line. A good gain on 1st down of 7 yards. Stephen Nicholas, who again started for Sean Weatherspoon, who's been hampered by injuries, making the play. Second down and 3 at the 41. Mike Goodson, the tailback. Play action for Clausen. Clausen's pass caught again by LaFell, who gets hit hard. And that was William Moore on the hard shot, but a pickup of 13, and LaFell did all he could do to hold on to it.
Tremendous catch by Brandon LaFell, because William Moore absolutely lowers the boom on him in open field, but I love the play call. 2nd and 3. Finally, a favorable down and distance for the Panthers. They get Clausen on the move with a crossing route to LaFell, and they pick up the 1st down.
They hadn't crossed their own 19 until now, and now they're in Falcon territory at the 46. Clausen stepping up, and his pass incomplete, and he tried to get it to tight end Gary Barnidge. 2nd down and 10, and there is Brandon LaFell making his 4th start, and a 3rd-round pick out of LSU. And of course LSU will be playing Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl on Fox, and you'll be there
on Friday.
And LaFell in the starting lineup because that man Steve Smith unable to go. 2nd down and 10. Mike Goodson turning it on, loses the ball, fumble, and it's recovered by Mike Peterson. Falcons will get it as Goodson coughs it up, and Peterson recovers, and it was Thomas Deku who forced the ball away from Goodson.
And that play symbolizes what's going on with Carolina, what's happened all year long. They changed the momentum. Nice drive going. They gashed them in the running game. And then the ball's knocked free. Fumble recovered by the veteran Peterson, and the Falcons are back in business.
Mike Goodson disconsolate over fumbling. That's the 36th turnover of the year by the Panthers, third most in the league. Falcons get it back on the 25, and here's Turner. And it was Greg Hardy who tripped him up. Otherwise, Turner might have gained a lot more. Picks up 9, however, on first down.
And the Falcons came out and brought an extra offensive lineman in the game to help kickstart the running game. 36 turnover this season. No way your record is going to be good when you turn it over that many times. But they brought in Will Spitek, number 74, to be the extra lineman to help kickstart the running game. Worked well on first down.
Spitek leads the game. By the way, the Panthers -7 in the turnover ratio. Second down and 1. And a good passing down. Completion is made to Brian Finneran. Unable to make the tackle was Richard Marshall, and Finneran gets a lot more yardage. He gets 18 in all, and it'll be a first down at the 49 of the Panthers.
As we started this game, we talked about this being like the first playoff game for the Falcons. They had a chance to lock down everything against New Orleans, didn't get it done. So they wanted to treat this game like, hey, we've already moved ahead. So far, you're seeing them use all their weapons on offense like it's the playoffs.
Turner for a game break, Kurt Menefee.
While New Orleans trying to keep at the Falcons' heels, taking on Tampa Bay, looking to go up 14-3, but Julius Jones coughs it up at the goal line. Tampa Bay recovers. Saints still up 7-3, and don't forget Dick and Charles. Tampa Bay can still make the playoffs if both Green Bay and the Giants lose later today.
And that drama's all going to come later on, the whole day on Fox. Falcons lose and the Saints win. Saints will win the division and home field throughout the playoffs, defending their Super Bowl title. Second down and 7 on the 46 of Carolina. Jenkins with the catch. And the first down to the 35. Pickup of 11.
Now, we talked with Mike Smith the other day, Dick, and we talked to him about the loss to New Orleans and moving forward. And he said, you know, we break this season into quarters, about four games each. We've actually moved ahead and made this the first game of our 5th quarter.
Here's Turner with the carry, and Turner gets to the 30-yard line. And it was Mike Peterson talking about Mike Smith, saying that the thing that makes him special is that he's the same guy you see Monday, the same way on Friday, even keel throughout the week, whether they win or lose. He says you know what to expect from the coach, and that's all players can ask for.
And that's why they're able to follow him. And when he says, guys, we're treating it like a playoff game, they get ramped up and ready to go.
Second down and 5 on the Carolina 30. Ryan goes underneath, dropping it though is Turner, incomplete. Well, what a partnership this has been the last 3 years for Matt Ryan and Mike Smith. Second most prolific record in 3 years to Dan Marino and Don Shula back in the 80s, who had 33 wins. And you want to talk about a combination that has worked all the way around. Atlanta coming from a really bad situation, doing well.
And what's interesting is you don't often think of Mike Smith and Matt Ryan tied in because Mike Smith isn't the play caller. You tend to think of Sean Payton and Drew Brees because Sean Payton calls the plays, and that's why they're locked in.
Good point, and the pass thrown underneath to Roddy White. Making the tackle was Captain Munnerlyn, and close to the first down. They needed 5 yards to get the first down.
They're looking to see the spot right now because this is a really nice tackle by Captain Munnerlyn, putting him down to where it's going to be a dispute on whether they got the first down or not, whether they measure or the Falcons have a decision to make.
Falcons leading 14-0. They're going to measure here.
Just short of the yard line. Let's see the measurement, and frankly, I don't think it's going to take much for Mike Smith to go for it anyway. Unofficial line is our yellow line, our yellow first down marker. There's the chains, a little bit short. No doubt in my mind he goes.
However, for Roddy White, he has set a new Falcons record for receptions, breaking Terrence Mathis's mark of 109, set back in 1994. It'll be 4th down and 1. And the ball just outside the Panther 25. And Will Svitek, the tackle, again reporting as a tight end. He's number 74.
And now, as you know, back in the day, Bart Starr with the Packers used to love to fake it on 3rd and short, 4th and short, and throw the ball deep. I don't think this Falcons offensive line is going to let their coaching staff do anything but run the football here. Watch the right side, the nasty side.
Quarterback sneak. And he may not have made it. Matt Ryan was hit immediately, lunged forward. And the Panthers indicate that he didn't get the necessary yardage, and he did not. And Carolina will take over on downs for the 2nd time here in this first half. It's the offense that has to start moving to get back into this game for Carolina.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Visa. More people go with Visa.
Panthers get the ball back after the Falcons could not get 4th down in less than a yard. They're on the 26. 14-0 to score, and on an end around is David Geddes. And Geddes getting the first down and pushed out of bounds by Brent Grimes after a healthy gain of 19.
Really nice block by Dante Rosario to spring him.
So the question here, are they gambling too much? Do they not have the respect of Carolina to go for it twice on 4th down?
Well, they feel like they can control the line of scrimmage anytime they want to, and I said go for it. I thought it was a good idea, but I would not have had Matt Ryan sneaking the football. They brought an extra offensive lineman in to block. You don't need an extra lineman in to run a sneak. You need him in to run your fullback or your tailback.
From the 45, Clausen in trouble. And sacked for the first time, Corey Peters. Falcons sacked Clausen 5 times 3 weeks ago when they played each other.
And to finish up the answer to the question, it really flips back to the offense of Carolina, Dick. They don't believe that they can hurt them enough to make the gamble hurt Falcons, even if they don't get it. They feel like defensively they can get to them, and on that play, Corey Peters, the rookie, does just that.
Loss of 4 yards. 2nd down and 14, back on the Panther 41. Here's Jonathan Stewart trying to go outside, hemmed in. And he ends up picking up a couple. Brent Grimes making the tackle on the play. Going back to what the Falcons have been doing on offense, they have now had 4 possessions in which they reach the Panther 26 or closer, and they have only 1 touchdown to show for it. Now it'll be 3rd down and 13 for the Panthers.
They've shown a tendency to pressure the rookie quarterback in this situation and play man coverage on the receivers.
Clausen off balance, and he completes to Dante Rosario, who is stopped about 7 yards shy of the first down by linebacker Stephen Nicholas. He gets 7 yards, so 4th down coming on, and Baker will come in to punt it away. And Eric Weems, who returned to punt 55 yards for a touchdown. First time he's done that in his career.
2 4th down stops for the Panthers have turned into 0 points for the Panthers. No payoff in momentum being changed.
Carolina 0 for 4 on 3rd down tries. Good kick by Baker. Weems is going to let it sail, and it's going to bounce, take a Carolina hop at the 6, and go out of bounds inside the 10. Falcons have to be delighted with their defensive effort so far as they lead it 14-0. On Friday, it's one of the most anticipated bowl games of the season as the LSU Tigers take on the Texas A&M Aggies in a rivalry that's over 110 years old. Our exclusive coverage of the 75th AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic live from Cowboys Stadium Friday at 8, 5 Eastern. Turner on first down and unable to get away from Nick Harris, the linebacker. And Charles Johnson, no gain on the play. Harris got to him first. And what a January and February on Fox. Look at this menu, starting with that AT&T Cotton Bowl, the NFC wild card game, and then the weekend of the NFC divisional playoffs, NFC championship game. The Pro Bowl coming a week before Fox's exclusive coverage of the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl.
Yes. Budweiser shootout and the Daytona 500 to follow, rounding it out. 2nd and 10, Turner up the middle. And Sherrod Martin holding on, and for a game break, here is Kurt Menefee on the Tampa Bay New Orleans battle.
After the Bucs field goal was erased by a New Orleans penalty, Tampa Bay turns it into a touchdown. Josh Freeman to the rookie Desmond Briscoe makes it a 10-7 Buccaneer lead. That game in the second quarter. Dick and Charles.
Giving the Saints all they can handle, aren't they?
That would be, if they pull this off, the second year in a row they beat New Orleans at the Superdome.
3rd down and 4. Matt Ryan's pass, and Roddy White thrown behind him. Captain Munnerlyn was defending on the play and very nearly managed to tip it in the air and hang on. So it'll be 4th down and the first punt for Atlanta.
And this one's on Matty Ice, because that ball's thrown into the back part of Roddy White behind him after he had clearly won the battle to get inside and was open on the slant.
So Armonte Edwards, the rookie who has not played except for 2 appearances this year, is back as Michael Kanan will kick from inside his 5.
Struggled catching punts in preseason and in camp.
Low line drive kick, flag is down. Chance for Edwards. Edwards on the dive inside the 45, and the penalty marker is down, and John Parry, the referee, will explain it.
During the kick, holding, number 25 of the return team. 10-yard penalty, first out.
So it was Marcus Hudson after the 14-yard gain. Will bring it back.
Look there. Yeah, you could really pick either number, either 25 Hudson or 36 Robert McLean on Christopher Owens.
So Hudson and McLean still discussing the play as they get to the sideline, and the Carolina Panthers, who managed one good scoring foray only to see Goodson fumble after a 15-yard gain, now will start from the 35. Goodson is the tailback. Rosario lining up in the backfield. Here's Goodson changing direction and tackled from behind by John Abraham. Another Pro Bowl for Abraham, and maybe no gain at best for Carolina.
Really nice play by the Pro Bowler John Abraham. We've seen him on a couple of occasions today make plays that aren't known as his forte. He's known as a pass rusher. Now he runs down to Goodson on that play, and previously on a shovel pass diagnosed it and put him down. But it's time for the Panthers offense to pick up their defense. 2 4th down stops and a good possession on the last defensive series.
The view from Mike Smith as he sees the field. 2nd down and 11. Clausen airing it out to Brandon LaFell. Can't hold on. And he had beaten Dante Robinson downfield. It was a fine pass from the rookie Jimmy Clausen.
And this is what I'm talking about, picking up their defense. Ball's well thrown. Opportunity for LaFell as they tell all receivers, if it hits you in the hands, we expect you to come down with it.
Steve Smith seeing his replacement.
And you know exactly what he's thinking over there on the sidelines, partner. I would have caught that one.
He feels he would catch them all, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
3rd down and 11 out of the shotgun. Here comes the pressure from the secondary. picked up, and this pass will be caught, and it'll be a first down. David Geddes, and the forward progress will be the 47-yard line, a 13-yard gain, and they really handled the blitz perfectly.
Jordan Gross is the Pro Bowl tackle, and here comes William Moore working. Good job by Mike Goodson as the running back, chopping him down. A nice poise in the pocket. Look at Jimmy Clausen staying alive in the pocket, eyes still downfield, and delivers a strike to Geddes for the first down.
First down, Panthers on their 47, winding down to 3 minutes remaining in the first half. And there's the quick pass, a catch by Geddes. Geddes, rookie from Baylor, and high hopes for him do the Panthers have, a gain of 5 into Falcon territory.
Panthers offense moving the ball a little better as this game continues to move, as we see here. The first 3 drives, one total of 1 yard. Last 3 over the century mark, gaining a little confidence. Their defense has provided them opportunities.
And they're gaining time of possession as well. The ball batted in the air, and it's caught back there by Goodson, and he is down. And it was Mike Peterson who got a hand on it, and that ball went high into the air.
And Mike Goodson should have just batted the ball down, because then it would have been an incomplete pass. Instead, he catches it. Now it's a bigger loss. See, watch where the ball's hit. See, ball's batted. Nice job by Peterson. Bat the ball down here, and the next down is from the original line of scrimmage. Instead, now you've got farther to go for the first down.
Loss of 11, and I guess Goodson didn't know exactly how close Peterson might have been. He got the word, however, from the sideline. The 2-minute warning here at the Georgia Dome, with the Falcons in front of the Panthers, 14-0.
Football coaches coach. This is what John Fox does. He's telling Mike Goodson, next time you're in that situation, I know your instinct is to catch the football, no down and distance, bat it down, give us a better opportunity on 3rd down.
And 3rd and 16, Tyrell Sutton. Number 22 is in the game, coming out of the backfield, and there is Sutton on the reception, and Sutton is going to be stopped a couple of yards short of the first down by Dante Robinson. A pickup of 14, so now it is 4th down at the 45 of Atlanta. And the same question here, what does John Fox do?
I don't punt the football. I'm down 14-0 in a 2-13 season. You know, you always have trouble moving the ball. I dial up something with my offensive coordinator, Jeff Davidson, and say, go get it.
And a timeout called by the Falcons, as John Fox, including postseason, that is his career record, 3 playoff appearances. And he got to the Super Bowl 38, losing to New England. But the one thing that the Panthers did not get during John Fox's career, back-to-back winning seasons, and that's something that Mike Smith did last year, and now in his 3rd year with a chance to be the #1 seed in the NFC.
He actually broke a string in Atlanta history. They had never done it.
4th down and 2. To no one's surprise, Panthers going for it. Jimmy Clausen trying to get away, and he can't, from Jonathan Babineau. Huge loss, and the Falcons will take over on downs on the 40-yard line of the Panthers. That's the 2nd sack of the game for Atlanta, and a big chunk of 15 yards. Clausen couldn't get away and get the ball off.
His first look, trying to find Dante Rosario, 88. He's double covered, nowhere to go with the ball. Top of the screen, David Geddes working up there against Brent Grimes. Can't get the ball to him because Jonathan Babineau has him in his grasp and puts him down.
And the Falcons using the timeout so they could stop the clock and get a chance on offense here to add to their lead. They're on the 40. And a penalty flag down, false start against the Falcons.
False start, number 74. Offense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Will Svitek.
He's the extra offensive lineman they bring in to try and match up or gain an advantage in the running game with an extra big guy blocking up front. Look at Harvey Dahl, 73, Tyson Clabo, 77. Dick, you mentioned Clabo's a Pro Bowl alternate. That's what they call their nasty side of the offensive line. They're maulers, love to run the football. Justin Blaylock and Sam Baker on the left side, they are their technicians, better pass protectors.
First down and 15. Quick pass by Ryan and the catch by Gonzalez, who's tackled immediately by John Beeson after the 5-yard pickup. And the clock continues to run. 2 timeouts left for Atlanta.
And Todd McClure, the center, you talk about his consecutive game streak. And I'll tell you what, if all of them heard me just say that, they'd all fight me saying they can do both.
Pressure on Ryan. And Ryan throws it away. And Greg Hardy, who's had a strong game on the defensive line, though he did not start today for the Panthers, will create a 3rd down and 10.
Smart play by Matt Ryan, had nothing downfield. Greg Hardy flushes him, number 76. Johnson chasing him, realizes he's out of the pocket, outside of the tackle box. He can ground the ball legally as long as he gets back to close to the line of scrimmage.
3rd down and 10 from the 40.
Greg Hardy on his feet as a pass rusher, moving him around.
Pressure on Ryan, gets hit, and Roddy White makes the catch at the 26. C.J. Wilson very nearly got the ball away, and a 14-yard gain, and there is the smile, says it all for Roddy White.
Difference between a guy trying to make a play and a Pro Bowler. Beautiful throw, but how about the concentration by Roddy White, because C.J. Wilson might have gotten a finger on the football. Altered its path a little bit. Roddy White focused and hauled it in.
Matt Ryan 19-2 at home as a starter, and they're going to have a booth review here to look at it. Both feet in bounds and control would be what they are looking at. So the booth review here as to whether Roddy White had both feet in bounds and control.
First foot's going down. Here comes the second foot. That's clearly in. I expect this play to be confirmed, the ruling on the field.
Here's John Parry.
After reviewing the play has been confirmed as a catch. Possession, 2 feet, first down.
So Roddy White, and reaping the benefits of a quarterback who knows how to get him the ball and spread it around, picking up 14 yards and a first down on the 26 of Carolina. 1:13 left and 2 timeouts for the Falcons. Flush from the pocket. Ryan on the run. And this pass, see if they rule it a catch. They do at the 14, Tony Gonzalez.
Again, dragging the toe.
Yeah.
Well done by Tony Gonzalez. But these receivers and quarterback are so in sync. As Matt Ryan moves around, they realize they're not going to where they're supposed to on the initial route, reverse their field, and come back to his line of sight. First foot's down, dragging the second toe. Catch by Tony Gonzalez.
I don't know why they don't have a booth review on that if they did in the other. 1st and 10 at the 14. Snelling is out as a receiver. Here's the pressure. Pass into the end zone, intended for Jenkins, and covered by Marshall. That time it was Eric Norwood who came in strong on Ryan. I'll tell you, the Panthers have been getting to get in on Ryan throughout this first half.
The Panthers have played hard on defense all year long. That's never been a question. I think they're 8th in total defense per play. The rare problem is they play too many plays. They're on the field too long. Eventually you wear down. And that's what's hurt the Panthers all season.
5-minute differential in time of possession. So Atlanta, 4th red zone foray, and the 2nd down and 10. Ryan throwing it away as Jenkins was covered downfield by Beeson.
This is exactly why a defense struggles. Atlanta's already run 40 plays in the first half. Carolina only 26. So the defense never gets full rest. Talking with John Beeson and asking him about things, and he said, you know, when you really get down to it on defense, you want to play fast, it's affected by your rest. So you got to be fresh in order to play fast all game long.
About 40 plays on a pace for 80, and the average is 62 plays. So Falcons owning the ball in this game. And here's a pass to Roddy White on the back shoulder. Touchdown Falcons.
Captain Munderland's back is to the play. Can't see it. Roddy White, both feet down. Did the ball cross the plane? Beautiful catch. Both feet definitely down. Did the ball cross the plane before he was hit and knocked out of bounds at the end of the play?
It was Godfrey who made the hit here.
I would say it looks like the ball has crossed the line of scrimmage from that view. Excuse me, from the goal line. There's the catch, the hit, and he extends it out as he's going out of bounds.
And he knew exactly where he had to get the ball, Charles.
See, watch here. Watch where the football is. See where the ball? Right there. Plane. Feet were down. They were in bounds on the catch. I would say even with a booth review, this will be confirmed as a touchdown. See his toe still? I'd say it's a touchdown.
And Godfrey getting slightly shaken up on the play.
Young man has played well all season long for Carolina's Charles Godfrey.
Regardless of that outcome, by rule, an injury inside of 2 minutes will be charged. Therefore, Carolina has been charged. Their first team timeout. We'll review the play.
So another booth review, and Panthers charged with their first timeout with 51 seconds remaining in the half, and the Falcons now up 20-0. And brings to mind their first meeting 3 weeks ago when it was 17-0 and had to hold on a little bit. Carolina made a run, and there you see, did the ball get over the plane? Both feet were in bounds. It appears that they did, but they're looking at it. Well, coming up next on America's Game of the Week, the NFC North champion Chicago Bears travel to Lambeau Field to take on the win and in Green Bay Packers. That's Bears-Packers, America's Game of the Week, next only on Fox. How do you figure that one, Charles?
Well, it's interesting. Most people think the Bears would probably rest people as they're locked in to the #2 seed in the NFC. But they want to go in with momentum, and they actually would like to leave no doubt. I think this is a Bears team that goes into this and plays hard, plays their starters right from the beginning, because nothing would make them happier than to knock out their most bitter rival from the playoffs.
So the Packers, of course, with a win would disappoint the Giants and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are playing the Saints very tough and would get that final playoff berth. Right here, the Atlanta Falcons, who are up by a score of 20-0 if that ruling holds and it's confirmed. Trying to nail down the victory and home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs, and as a result, the NFC South Championship as well. And even if the ruling is overturned by the booth review, we will be first and goal inside the one. So
at about the inch line.
So take your poison either way. John Fox coaching his last game with the Carolina Panthers, and Mike Smith, who is getting a contract extension, the first order of business, opposite ends.
And a well-deserved one. His organization has elevated since he and Thomas Dimitroff, the GM, came in. Dimitroff hires Mike Smith, and they haven't looked back.
7-game improvement. The playoffs in 08.
Reviewing the play stands as called.
Touchdown. To the delight of this crowd that is primed for a big celebration today that would get the Falcons home field throughout. So Matt Ryan with his second touchdown pass of the game. And it's 20-0, and Matt Bryant looking to add another point. $21-0. The Falcons leading the Panthers, under a minute remaining in this first half. And coming up at halftime, the Visa halftime report. So you'll hear from Kurt, Terry, Howie, Michael, and Jimmy, scores and highlights, and the Fox Sports ticker. And of course, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning 10-7 over the New Orleans Saints. And I don't think the Falcons care whether New Orleans loses today. They want to end this on a win, do it themselves, and get in there on their own.
And they're not going to make a great show of it. They're not going to blare the trumpets to the heavens. They'd like nothing more than have New Orleans come back through here in the playoffs. They were not happy about how that game went on Monday night. They didn't think they played their best game. They didn't think New Orleans dominated them by any stretch. In fact, the Atlanta Falcons defense only gave up 7 points. And at the end of the game, the Saints players posed on the Falcons logo. And in the pantheon of sports, when you pose on the other team's logo, they want revenge. That's just how it works.
I know, and you know, they play a whole game on the logo.
I know, I'm like you.
As you see Jordan Pugh and Tyrell Sutton back there, Pugh number 29, but you know, anything that will erase what is known as disrespecting,
exactly.
A team will use it, right?
They're looking for the edge. I'm like you, the whole game you stomp on the logo, no one says a word, but you take a picture, now it's an issue.
So Goodson not back there, as you can see, and the kick heading to Tyrell Sutton, returning. And a flag goes down, penalty marker down. .43 seconds left in a 21-0 lead for the Falcons, and already players jawing at each other. This has been a long-standing rivalry, as all teams in this NFC South have experienced.
During the return, holding, number 38 of the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
Rashawn Jackson
Carolina.
holding will set the Panthers back.
This whole first half has been one of missed opportunities for the Panthers. They fought hard on defense. The offense gets one up there, not a completion. Mike Goodson on a big run. Thomas Deku knocks it free. Mike Peterson covers it. Another opportunity. Jimmy Clausen with a chance to connect with Brandon LaFell on a big shot downfield. LaFell unable to haul it in.
There's the yardage and time of possession story as the Panthers begin from the 10, and Jonathan Stewart picking up 3 yards as we wind down to a half a minute remaining, and the Falcons, who went 40 yards in under a minute to score that 3rd touchdown of the game. 2nd down and 7. And that's going to do it for this first half. The Atlanta Falcons halfway to nailing down the NFC South title and home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs. We'll take a 21-0 lead into intermission here at the Georgia Dome. 2 touchdown passes by Matt Ryan. 21-0 Falcons, and Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages. It's been a Matt Ryan day with 2 touchdown passes, one to Gonzalez, the other to Roddy White. 28 touchdown passes on the year. Most spectacular, though, was the kick return by Eric Weems. His 2nd kick return for a touchdown. First time he's brought back a punt for a score, 55 yards. And that's been the scoring, 21-0 in favor of the Atlanta Falcons, trying to wrap everything up today. Eric Weems with the big play. And follow your favorite team all season long. Go to itunes.com/NFL. So it's 21-0 here, and the Falcons halfway to their goal, Charles. And now you know that the Panthers have to throw the ball, but the Falcons know it.
Bad news for Carolina, frankly, because this is a Panthers team that struggled throwing the football all year long, even under good situations, even under favorable down and distance, and sometimes an occasional favorable score. And the last time these two teams played, the Falcons had 5 sacks. They like their one-on-one matchups rushing the passer. John Abraham, Croy Bierman, Jonathan Babineau inside. They love that opportunity. And if they can't run the ball at all, look out. Here they come.
All right, let's take a look at the first half numbers, and the thing that really jumps out of you is what you were talking about, the passing yardage, 206 to 49.
And when you look at it this way, it looks absolutely horrible. But think of the opportunities the Panthers missed with shots downfield. Missing a chance with David Geddes, a chance with Brandon LaFell. Those numbers would look much better and would have given them an opportunity to score points.
Panthers will get the ball first. And there is Michael Turner, who has gained 48 yards on 11 carries. There is Geddes, who along with LaFell, 2 rookie starters at wide receiver, and Jimmy Clausen, who has completed 9 of 14 for 68 yards. Tyrell Sutton is back to return the kick from Michael Kanan to get the second half underway. Into the end zone and down there for the touchback. Let's check in with Jamie Maggio now. Jamie.
All right, thank you. Well, you guys were talking about the difference in time of possession. John Fox says that's been a problem with them all year. His offense needs to generate plays, and it's up to them to keep themselves out on the field. As for Mike Smith, he says that's exactly what they want to do, is control the clock. They have no plans of letting up here in the second half. Back up to you guys.
And, you know, Jamie, that's been the menu for the Falcons all season long. The fact that they have had long drives using the clock and not making mistakes and not committing penalties.
It becomes attrition. They try to wear you down so that deep into the fourth quarter, they have the advantage.
First down from the 20, Jonathan Stewart, and he's going to edge forward for a yard. Nicholas was the first to hit him. So the Panthers, no points, 97 yards. 5 first downs, and that turnover really hurt. It was after a Mike Goodson 15-yard run into Falcon territory. It looked like the Panthers had something going before he coughed it up.
See if this Atlanta Falcons defensive line can get a little what they call vertical penetration against the running game. Get upfield for the initial hits in the backfield.
Second down and 8, and the pass to go on with Geddes, who claimed he was held, and a flag will go down. At the 40-yard line, Brent Grimes was defending.
Prior to the pass being thrown, holding, defense, number 20, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And that was the call, and it'll be an automatic first down, Carolina.
Top of the screen, Brent Grimes working against David Geddes. Got caught flat-footed. Geddes on the move. Best move Grimes made was to hold him up a little bit to try to not give up the touchdown. If he doesn't touch him at all, Geddes is still running, probably complete the pass.
Ball was not in the air, and that's why it wasn't a pass interference, just a hold. So first down and 10 at the 27. And on the end around, here's Brandon LaFell. They've done this before. And Brandon LaFell, still on his feet, makes a move inside the 20, and finally brought down by Grimes inside the 15. A brilliant 64-yard end around by Brandon LaFell, who showed some fancy moves to get to the 13 of the Falcons.
You noted it, Dick, the second end around of this game, and the last one broke pretty well too. Nice block out on the corner by number 12, David Geddes, on Dante Robinson. Good move inside for the missed tackle, and then Grimes finally able to haul him in. But look at Geddes, not just a good initial block, controlled him 15 yards downfield.
Second longest play from scrimmage of the year for the Panthers. First down at the 13, and another end around is bobbled by LaFell, and LaFell fires it away. And a smart play by LaFell. No flag is down. And John Abraham coming in, and now a late marker comes down. At first blush, it looked like a smart play by Brandon LaFell.
Intentional grounding, offense. Although he was out of the pocket, the ball did not get back to the line of scrimmage, and there was no eligible receiver. This penalty includes loss of down.
There are 3 reasons why it was grounding on that one.
Pick from a menu. And LaFell unable to control the handoff initially. Now he's outside the tackle box, which tells you, yes, you can ground the football, but the ball has to get near the line of scrimmage. It doesn't do that. And last but not least, since it doesn't do that, there's no eligible receiver anywhere close, which could have bailed him out. The trifecta's completed. Big penalty against the Panthers.
And it'll be 2nd down and 27 back on the 30. Vance Walker is in for Jonathan Babineau, who is shaken up. He's had a shoulder injury anyway.
And Coy Wire's playing the middle now for Atlanta at linebacker.
And here is Clausen and his pass underneath to David Clowney. And Clowney, the former New York Jet, trips up at the 5-yard line and picks up 25 yards. So the Panthers keep coming despite some of those negative yardage plays they've experienced.
And they're doing a decent job of run after catch, because this play had a chance to be put down close to after the catch. But right there's a missed tackle by Dante Robinson. And Clowney goes farther into the secondary.
Boy, when that 10-yard line has a bump in it, boy, that's going to cause some problems, isn't it? 3rd down and 2. Clausen with a fade, tipped away by Grimes. Going for Geddes. Superb play by Brent Grimes.
I've been saying this since about mid-season, that Brent Grimes is having a Pro Bowl type of a year. He didn't make it this year, but he's put himself on the radar for future years. Came into the game with 22 passes broken up on the season, a new Falcons record. He adds to that number with that nice play against the taller David Geddes.
And he managed to keep his hands off of Geddes to avoid a pass interference call. So John Casey is on to try a 23-yard field goal. And the kick is good. They go for 3, trailing 21-0. Charles, your thoughts?
They wanted points. They wanted something to feel good after that drive.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And by the Ford F-150 and its 4 new engines. This is the future of truck.
Scoring drive, 6 plays, 75 yards, and officially a 60-yard rush by Brandon LaFell. Weems is back. By the way, Falcon injuries. Brian Williams, the cornerback, out with a knee, and Sean Weatherspoon, you mentioned Coy Wire with a shoulder. And here comes an onside kick. And the Falcons will get it at the 45, and the Panthers have the first chance at it. Eric Coleman makes the recovery, but the Panthers were right there.
That's Jeff Rogers, the special teams coach. They dial it up, and this should be handled by the Carolina Panthers. But they let it slip through. Good block by Jordan Pugh. Charles Godfrey doesn't get it. The Falcons are fortunate.
And we're back here at the Georgia Dome. Dick Stockton, Charles Davis, and Jamie Maggio. Steve Smith having to sit this one out, and the onside kick recovered by the Falcons. They have a first down at the 45 of the Panthers. Here's Michael Turner. And James Anderson gets there. So self-destructing has been the story of the Panthers. The little things that cost you a touchdown. How about this end around? Brandon LaFell couldn't handle it, called for intentional grounding, and then Clowney trips onto the field. The turf monster got him, and then a great play by Grimes preventing a touchdown to Geddes, and then the onside kick in which Godfrey had the best chance initially, and Coleman recovered for the Falcons. Play action on 2nd and 8, and the pass is caught by Justin Peel, and the backup tight end with his first catch of the game gets a first down to the Panther 30, a gain of 13.
Watching that sequence of missed opportunities again for Carolina leads me to this conclusion. Things are getting a little loose for the Atlanta Falcons right now. Things have to get tightened up for this team. They know they're in the playoffs. They're trying to lock down home field throughout the playoffs and a division title. But right now, this offense needs to take control, put this ball in the end zone, get them some points, and start getting Atlanta tightened up and focused again.
21-3, play action on 1st and 10, and there goes the rush, and the pass intended for Peel again, and Greg Hardy coming in on the play again. And you're absolutely right, and it was 3 weeks ago, Charles, it was 17-0. The Falcons on the road sailing along, and they ended up winning, but Carolina played well in the second half.
And Greg Hardy almost intercepted this pass. Greg Hardy was a terrific defensive end at Ole Miss when he was healthy, but he also played on the basketball team. And we saw a bit of that agility and athleticism out covering and nearly picking off the pass.
Buccaneers and Saints 10-10 now in the third quarter. 2nd and 10 here, and here's the handoff to Turner again. And Turner is hit, and it was Sherrod Martin, the free safety, who snaked in and limited Turner to a gain of 4 yards.
Dick, I'm going back to what you just talked about. The 3 weeks ago, 17-0, things got a, they ended up winning it, but it didn't feel great in the second half. They're still looking for that full 60-minute game, and that's what the playoffs are all about. Because you start having a few loose possessions in the playoffs, that's what can cost you ultimately.
Panthers have outrushed the Falcons 110-61. 3rd down and 6. Losing the ball and recovering. And it looks like the Falcons get it back as Matt Ryan had the ball jarred loose, and once again the Panthers look to have the best opportunity of making the recovery to the obvious disappointment of John Fox. Norwood made the hit on Ryan to start it all.
Eric Norwood, whose alma mater was in here the other night for the bowl game, South Carolina, pops it free. And look, right there is an opportunity. And here's the problem. He doesn't do it the right way. Greg Hardy, in recovering a fumble, you never pull it to your body and roll over and expose the football to the other team. You're supposed to get on it, curl up over top of the football. Greg Hardy didn't do that.
Charles Johnson is shaken up. Timeout.
Today's game is sponsored by Pizza Hut. Your favorite plays deserve your favorite pizza. Your favorites, your Pizza Hut.
In his 4th year, having a terrific season. Here comes the field goal, 47-yard try by Matt Bryant. And Bryant, kick is good. 24-3 in favor of the Falcons. Bryant, 28 of 31 in field goals this year. Falcons are up by 3 touchdowns, but if they lose this game and the Saints win, the Saints will have the NFC South title and home field throughout, and the Falcons will get the wild card and play the NFC West champion to determine later. Right now, 13-10, the Buccaneers leading the Saints in the 3rd quarter as Tyrell Sutton back to return the kick from Michael Kanan. So the Buccaneers tooth and nail with the Saints in that game in New Orleans, and into the end zone, a touchback, and let's send it down to Jamie Maggio.
All right, guys, well, the Tampa Bay Radio Network is reporting that New Orleans Saints management has ordered their scoreboard operator not to provide updates of this Falcons-Panthers games. Now, on the contrary, right here in this stadium, every time they see the score of that game, you get a little cheer from the fans. We'll send it back up to you.
Well, Charles, you're in the middle of the game. Does an offensive lineman look up at the board to check the score? Maybe when he gets to the sideline.
They might, but it's interesting strategy that Jamie reported by the Saints, because nothing matters for the Saints except if they win. Because if they lose, it doesn't matter anyway. So winning the game is paramount, so they don't want to know that the Falcons have an advantage.
Jonathan Stewart with the rush and close to the 1st down and may have it. Penalty flag down. William Moore making the tackle, and Stewart may have had 10 on that run.
Tripping, number 38, offense, 10-yard penalty.
Rashawn Jackson, the fullback, playing
down
for Fiametta, tripping. And now for a game break, here's Kurt.
Dick, asked Jamie Maggio what Saints management thinks about us showing you highlights of another game. The Saints and Buccaneers tied at 10. Michael Spurlock of Tampa takes the kickoff 69 yards, set up a field goal, and the Bucs now have the lead 13-10. So neither scenario you guys talked about is happening because Atlanta's winning and New Orleans is losing. Dick, Charles?
All right, thank you very much. Here's the pitch to Jonathan Stewart. Stewart, down he goes, Stephen Nicholas, and there'll be a loss of 5 yards. You know, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't care whether that score is shown or not, because they know if they win and the Packers and Giants lose later, they will make the playoffs.
Their scoreboard watching comes later, but for whether it's the Saints or whether it's the Buccaneers, the scoreboard doesn't matter. It's the game. And so that's why it's an interesting move by the Saints management. They're telling everybody this game is the one that matters, because if Atlanta wins, we're out of the deal anyway.
Well, tripping and a loss on a play gives you 2nd and 25 back to the 5. And here's Jonathan Stewart. Boy, he got clobbered and then rebounded and ended up with a 4-yard pickup. And it was William Moore. And does he bring it?
Well, this was his reputation coming out of school. And you just heard his reputation lived up to it.
Crunching hit by Moore. And the crowd right with it. 3rd down and 20. Jonathan Babineau back in the lineup for the Falcons. And here is Clausen going deep for Geddes. And the pass is intercepted. Dante Robinson picks it off for the Falcons.
And Dante Robinson, who has struggled a little bit during this game, gets his first interception of the season, his first as a Falcon, and the first interception for him in his last 23 games. He was being teased by his teammates about the streak. Supposed to be a shutdown corner, no interceptions. Now he doesn't have to answer that question any longer.
And frustrations continue for Jimmy Clausen as he takes a seat on the bench, and the Falcons take over on their 46. Just under 8 minutes to go in the 3rd, leading 24-3. Here's Michael Turner. And Turner carries Anderson for several yards, and he picks up 9 yards. And now tempers flare. And it was Nick Harris, the linebacker, and Obi Mihaly, the fullback, going at it here. And Mihaly pointing as he now comes off the field.
Obi Mihaly going to the Pro Bowl, and he's going to the Pro Bowl because he's a terrific lead blocker. Nick Harris gives him a little nudge. Mihaly takes offense. Harris with a little shot to the head. Mihaly gets the number. I have a feeling he's going to hunt him up his first opportunity.
2nd and 1, 3 tight ends in the game. Here is Turner again. And you can expect the Panthers will get a lot of Michael Turner the rest of the way as Hardy and Beeson bring him down after a gain of 3 and a first down to the 42 of Carolina. 24-3 the score in favor of the Falcons, trying to finish at 13-3, capture the NFC South for the first time in 6 years, and have home field advantage here at the Georgia Dome. Throughout the NFC playoffs, their only loss here was to the Saints last Monday. First down at the 42. Now Snelling, number 44 in the lineup. The quick to Jenkins. Jenkins gets 9.
Despite the fact the Falcons have this lead, there's got to be a little frustration built up in them because they haven't finished a few drives offensively today.
Munnerlyn is shaken up, and you started to touch on a point a little earlier about is a team really in top gear going into the playoffs? Winning handily here, 24-3, but you observe things.
But as we've gone along today, they've been stopped twice on 4th down attempts. All right, they had to give the ball up in their own territory. They've been fortunate a couple of plays. You can say they've made some plays, but they've been fortunate where the Panthers have just dropped the football or not recovered an onside kick or missed a wide open guy running down the sidelines on a pass. Different things have happened today where the Falcons have been the beneficiaries of some good fortune, and they want to tighten that up as they get ready for their playoff run.
C.J. Wilson replaces Munnerlyn. 2nd down and 1 at the 33. Here's Snelling, and Snelling will be knocked down short of the first down by Sherrod Martin. And for a game break, once again, Kurt, very busy day for you, Kurt.
Very busy day, and it could be a very busy postseason for the NFC South. Alex McGee sacks Drew Brees, third Saints turnover of the day. Bucs now have the ball up 13-10, looking to win and get help and go into the playoffs along with New Orleans and Atlanta, who are already there. Dick and Charles.
All right, remember what Raheem Morris said, let's get to 10 wins, and a win here would get him to 10 wins. Meanwhile, on 3rd and 1, Obi Mahaley with a first down, getting 4 yards inside the Carolina 30 as we get close to 5 minutes left in the third. Captain Munnerlyn, who was shaken up, back in the lineup. First down now at the 29. Ryan has thrown 2 touchdown passes today. Jason Snelling knocked back and knocked down. An aggressive defense. And you can't fault the Panthers defense at all this year. And again, Sherrod Martin, we've mentioned his name several times today, Charles, and he knocked Snelling back for a loss of nearly 5.
Sherrod Martin involved. John Beeson, 52 at the end of it. Martin with the first hit, Beeson with the next hit, Nick Harris getting involved. And one thing you can always tell about a team, if they've cashed it in, all tackles are one-on-one. And then if you miss it, it goes for a big play. When they haven't cashed it in, there's a host of guys around the football, and we just saw that.
Eric Weems is in the slot to the right. He's done everything today on 2nd and 15. Pass is thrown underneath to Gonzalez, who carries a defender to the 26, and that was Jordan Pugh, and he winds up with 8 yards.
Another nice catch by Tony Gonzalez. I talked in the first half about how he does everything on the move when catching the football in practice and pregame. Anytime he's catching the ball, he wants his body in some type of motion because that essays what he does in a game. Paid dividends there as he had to turn back around to catch the football before moving upfield.
Gonzalez, White, and Jenkins all have caught 5 passes. 3rd down and 7. Empty backfield. Ryan. And Ryan goes down. Notice how he protected the ball knowing he had no receiver. And there's a flag down at the 22. Another penalty down. As Hudson and Gonzalez briefly going at it verbally. And maybe more than verbally.
And the guy Matt Ryan wanted to throw it to was Roddy White, but he went down in the secondary. I don't know if he was tripped or knocked down.
John Parry.
Holding, defense, number 25. 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Roddy White on the slant. There's Weems inside. White goes down. They said 25. That was 27. C.J. Wilson. And then at the end of the play, Tony Gonzalez taking offense to Marcus Hudson,
who's called for the holding penalty. And a first down for the Falcons. Now on the 21.
There's a trip by Wilson on Roddy White, and then the hold on the backside was Hudson, 25 on Gonzalez.
Now Gonzalez in motion to the right on first down, and Ryan going into the end zone and incomplete, yelling for a foul. Brian Finneran defended by Marshall, and a flag is down at the 2. Looked like the feet got tangled up.
And I'm not so sure that I'm in agreement off of first blush that there should be a flag on this play.
3.
Pass interference, defense, number 31. The pass interference foul was a cutoff at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
All right, let's take a look. Brian Finneran, 86,
74.
running against Richard Marshall. He's got him at the hip. He's got him covered on the play. No way there should be a flag dropped on that play. I'll have that debate anytime they get good and ready with me, because I don't see that one at all. That's just good coverage.
I'll sit with you.
Thank you,
against
sir.
Whoever wants to argue that. First and goal at the 1. Here's Turner. And the Panthers, led by Derek Landry, knock him back. And another update, Kurt Menefee. Bergoni's.
Remember that Saints turnover? How about the Bucs turning it into a touchdown? 4th and 1. Josh Freeman throws it up. Great catch by Mike Williams. And now Tampa Bay leads it by 10 in the 3rd quarter. Dick and Charles.
People are going to be learning about Josh Freeman if they haven't already, Charles. No question.
And wasn't it just Tuesday morning that the league was buzzing and saying there may be no hotter team in the league right now than the New Orleans Saints? Their kryptonite may be the Tampa Bay Bucs.
2nd down and goal. They go again to Turner up the middle. Touchdown, Falcons. Michael Turner coming into the game, 5th in rushing in the league. And the 2nd behind, Adrian Peterson with touchdowns, gets his 12th.
Difference between this play and the last play, no penetration up front. Obi Mihaly seals the block as the fullback on the backside, and Turner waltzes in. There's Mihaly, 34, the Pro Bowler, blocking on Corby Irvin, number 93, and Turner gets an easy waltz.
Matt Bryant with the extra point. And so the Falcons capitalizing on that interception. Get the touchdown. And have now opened up a 31-3 lead on Carolina. Here's a scoring drive and set up by the interception by Dante Robinson, and the drive assisted by 2 penalties for 25 yards. This was the interception by Robinson, and the Falcons capitalized. Michael Turner with 67 yards rushing as Kanan kicks off to Terrell Sutton. Again into the end zone and thinking of running it out and thinking otherwise. Well, this February, see NASCAR's biggest race like you've never seen it race before at the newly paved Daytona International Speedway, where drivers can now go 3 wide. It's sure to be the most competitive and exciting Daytona 500 in recent history. The NASCAR on Fox season begins with the running of the Great American Race this February, only on Fox.
Used to love it when they ran 3 wide. Now, it's a little different with restrictor plates running 3 wide as when they were wide open. But still, 3 wide is 3 wide.
And the Panthers may have to use 3 wide here, down 31-3. 10 of 17 for Clausen. Still not over 100 yards from the 20. Clausen bounced it incomplete. And it's 2nd down and 10.
Been a tough year for him. But Dick, we sat with Jimmy Clausen yesterday, production meeting. And you hear a lot of things about this young man coming out of college. I mean, when I checked on him, ran the gamut of opinions. Liked him, didn't like him, too cocky, you know, all these different things. I found him delightful in our production meeting yesterday. And this has been a tough, tough year for this rookie quarterback.
And I think he's handled it very well on a 2-win team. Here's Jonathan Stewart up the middle, and Stewart gets clobbered. William Moore again with the hit. And a gain of 12 yards that time, and Stewart may be feeling some of those cobwebs here.
Well, at the end of a good run like that, you will willingly take a big hit, but you don't want to take too many of those. William Moore does not mind lowering the boom on you.
First down at the 32. Stewart remains in there, 2 tight ends, and gets the call again. And Stewart picking up a couple of yards. That was Coy Wire coming up to make the play.
You can see how things are getting a little chippy there. You've got a team that's really frustrated, the Carolina Panthers, with how things have gone. The Falcons just want to get this thing done so they can go and celebrate. But you go back to Jimmy Clausen, and you made the point about how well he's handled this, Dick, throughout this year, even though he hasn't played particularly well. But add in this now. The Panthers have locked down the #1 pick in the draft. Everyone's clamoring for what to be picked in the draft? A quarterback.
And I think they're going to pick the best quarterback available. They have to. 2nd down and 8. Mike Goodson is in the game at running back. And this pass is caught by Brandon LaFell. Still about 2.5 yards shy of the first down, with under a half a minute remaining in the 3rd. Well, this is the draft pick story coming up. They don't have a 2nd round pick. And they may get a 3rd in compensation for the loss of Julius Peppers to the Chicago Bears. But you know, number one, they need a quarterback. That's the most obvious story of the year as far as that team is concerned. And they'll have a new coach as well. 3rd down and 2. Final seconds. They get the play off. And the pass incomplete. Intended for LaFell as time runs out. That's the end of the 3rd quarter with the score. The Falcons 31 and the Panthers 3. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a break from your local Fox station. And welcome back to the Georgia Dome in Atlanta. This is Dick Stockton along with Charles Davis, Jamie Maggio. We begin the 4th quarter here, and the Falcons dominating the Panthers 31-3 on the scoreboard. Jason Baker will be kicking, and Eric Weems back deep for Atlanta. And the ball will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. And that's the Falcons. Yeah, they were maybe that way 4 years ago, but they're not that way anymore. They're dancing and they're happy.
Today's game is sponsored by GMC. It's the GMC holiday event. Get the job done right this season with a GMC Sierra. By The Dilemma, in theaters January 14th. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
And the Falcons are starting to take their starters and stars out. None bigger than Matt Ryan. 22 of 32, 236, 2 touchdowns, giving him 28 for the season. And the new quarterback is Chris Redmond, and the handoff is to Jason Snelling, and tackled by Nick Hayden. And Tony Gonzalez also finished for the day, and the Atlanta Falcons now resting their people for the playoffs. And Chris Redmond in his 8th year and the 4th year with Atlanta, and Ryan had taken all the snaps this year until now, Charles.
So this is good for Chris Redmond, just to get a little bit of time, just in case the unthinkable happens in the playoffs and Matt Ryan's unavailable for a stretch.
Snelling is the tailback. 2nd down and 9. And Redmond completes to Roddy White. And White with a 1st down at the 35-yard line. Marshall on the tackle. Gain of 14. Wonder how long they'll keep White in there.
I would be thinking hard about Roddy White taking a little time off himself.
And out he goes. And Harry Douglas replaces him. Falcons record with 1,389 receiving yards this year, and he broke Terrence Mathis's record for most catches as well. So Roddy White is finished for the day.
And when the head coach shakes your hand coming off the field on the sidelines, that's usually an indicator.
1st down and 10 for the Falcons, up by 28. Snelling. And Snelling gets to the 40. So White obviously was in, so he would establish that record, and then being taken out as Snelling gets 5 yards on the play. And Eric Weems will come in as now Jenkins and Peel come out of the Falcon offensive line.
Did you tell me that was Terrence Mathis's record he broke, right?
That's correct.
Played against that young man in college, Terrence Mathis.
And I'm sure you shut him down.
He had no shot when he played against him. He was, boy, was he an exciting player.
Yes, he was. And congrats for Roddy White. 4th big year for him. And you can see that the Atlanta Falcons, with their 3rd big year, called the timeout here. And we'll take a timeout. Chris Redmond seeing his first action of the season. Hey, don't miss the grand opening of Bob's Burgers, a new addition to Sunday's Animation Domination. It's tasty and well done. Very rare indeed. Bob's Burgers series premiere a week from tonight after an all-new Simpsons on Fox. From the 40, 1st down. Redmond, the quarterback, handing off to Jason Snelling. And Snelling gets to the 43, about 2.5 shy of the 1st down. Godfrey making the tackle. Moments ago. Thanks for the record. That's those little things players really remember from a coach.
That's how you get real buy-in, a trust factor. And Mike Smith's not trying to rub Carolina's nose in it. He's just looking out for one of his own. He got the record by 1 and got his star out of the ball game. They'll be linked forever with that record.
Gartrell Johnson, number 27, in the backfield for the Falcons on 3rd down and 2. Redmond's pass to Snelling and tackled by Beeson. Beeson is still playing as if the Panthers have something to go for in postseason. And as you mentioned, the former Pro Bowl player. And
yeah, the question hasn't been defense in Carolina, Dick. It hasn't been at all. It's been offense. And there's Mike Mularkey, offensive coordinator, the Atlanta Falcons, trying to dial things up here. And people are wondering, okay, the next guy in Carolina, they're going to have to pick up the offense a little bit.
Armonte Edwards going back deep. Michael Kanan will kick it away. Good high kick. Edwards muffed it. Did he cover up? And apparently he did. Carolina ball early here in the 4th.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Windows 7.
Panthers ball from the 20-yard line. Falcons leading 31-3. Ready to wrap up everything in the NFC today. Jimmy Clausen, fake handoff. Has time. Does he have a receiver? No.
Now, was he outside of the box?
Coming up next on America's Game of the Week, the NFC North champion Chicago Bears travel to Lambeau Field to take on the win-and-in Green Bay Packers. Bears-Packers, what a traditional rivalry. America's Game of the Week next, only on Fox. And you know, if Aaron Rodgers and the Packers win the game, they are in the playoffs. Bears already in. Right now, the 2nd seed. And great position for a team that no one really thought would do as well as they did.
That was discussed throughout the season, that the Bears might not be as good as their early record, and they've only gotten better.
Rodgers with 1 interception his last 7. By the way, intentional grounding was called on Clausen on that last play. 2nd down and 20. And this time he throws behind LaFell, incomplete. So again, the story of the lack of the passing offense for the Carolina Panthers, Charles, and we've addressed it. And of course, if the Panthers, who have the #1 pick, and they've clinched that, the best quarterback out there happens to be a redshirt sophomore by the name of Andrew Luck, who's playing for Stanford in the Orange Bowl tomorrow night.
And also attached to Andrew Luck is his head coach Jim Harbaugh, in which there's been a lot of speculation about what his next move is. And we know John Fox will not be back in Carolina next year.
3rd down and 20. And here is Clausen. And Clausen going deep. Clowney, the intended receiver, and incomplete 4th down. And of course, Luck so far has said he will stay at Stanford. But if he decides that he wants to come out, he would be, I would think, the obvious choice for the Panthers if at all that works out. The Pac-10 Offensive Player of the Year. You have seen him and you know who he is and what he does.
Big, well put together young man, very smart, has terrific genes. His father Oliver played in the NFL as a quarterback, currently the athletic director at West Virginia. And Andrew Luck knows how to run a pro-style offense already.
Baker kicking, and Weems, who has returned to punt 55 yards for a touchdown, calls for the fair catch at his own 45 with just under 11 minutes to go in the game. And the Atlanta Falcons on their way to a 13-3 record, NFC South title, home field advantage, you name it, they've earned it. Tony Gonzalez with 88 career receiving touchdowns, matching his uniform number, tied for 10th in the NFL history with Don Maynard, the former Jet.
And New York Giant.
And New York Giant, that's right. Number 13, I believe, in your scorecard. 1st down, Jason Snelling, and here's the fake, and the pass complete to Justin Peel, and Redmond gets 9 yards out of it. Sherrod Martin making the tackle. We have talked about our production crew throughout the season, but we want to thank guys like Mike Tatamir, who has given us great camera shots, and Keith DeSantis. Great shots, and because of these guys. Nick Franklin and Anthony DeLeva supply the great replays. That's in the truck as they Look at the tapes. Keith Darnellis makes all the video look spectacular. We are so fortunate to have technicians like these. 2nd down and 1. And here is Snelling, and he'll get the first down. Dan Cochran provides those crystal clear field sounds you hear. And we heard them crystal clear early in this game. Aaron Coombs is our yellow line guy. That's the unofficial line for first downs that we see all the time. Eric Norton and Rick Odioso keep our statistics. Very important to have accurate and creative numbers guys, and we have it. And Chris Visser, our spotter, keep you apprised on who is doing what on the field. Jeremy Wilson creates all of our graphics. And last but not least, the one and only, yes, Josh Weingrad is our Fox Box guy. The Fox Box is what you see in the upper left. Great job by everybody. Jason Snelling and Marvin Kale leads our crew, and John Howard is our technical director. Artie Kempner, the director, calls for the shots, and John Howard punches him up. And it's all led by Pete Macheska, our producer and the leader of the entire crew. Audio mixer is Jeff Cohen, and he has done a terrific job with all of us for many years. The associate director is Fran Morrison. Fran Morrison, talented to the end. And the broadcast associate, Yvonne Wagoner. And the graphics you see, compliments of Yvonne Wagoner's research. And in Los Angeles, thanks to Scott Ackerson, Bob Levy, Stephanie Medina, Janice Casaza, Jack Simmons, and Jerry Steinberg. And the pass incomplete. Peel was hit hard by Captain Munnerlyn. And I think we have covered just about everyone. And I know we have a lot of time left, Charles. A pleasure, utter pleasure working with you for the 2nd straight year. A total joy, and one of the nicest people I've ever had a chance to be alongside in any sport. And so thank you.
And I echo that. Thank you, and thank everyone that you mentioned. What a tremendous crew. Everyone is just so wonderful. They make it, as you put it, a joy. It's a joy to show up every week to work with them.
And glad to have Jamie Maggio with us, who does a terrific job down on the sidelines. 3rd down and 9. Flag is down. Redmond getting rid of it. Greg Hardy. We've been mentioning Greg Hardy and Sherrod Martin all game today for John Fox's defense.
Offside, defense, number 92, 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
It's Eric Norwood, defensive penalty. I don't think that you can fault the Carolina Panthers defense really at all. When you consider how long they've been on the field in each game this year.
And what John Fox is saying is, okay, I see you got the offsides, but he was in the pocket, grounded it into the flat, ball didn't get to the line of scrimmage, and no one was in the territory. So how come that doesn't go on? How come that flag's not pulled? And at least we get offsetting penalties.
Gartrell Johnson is alongside Chris Redmond on 3rd and 4 at the 37 of the Panthers. Redmond's pass knocked down. Good defensive play by Beeson against Michael Palmer. We'll be talking Beeson in the Pro Bowl for many years, and we already have.
He's already a 2-time Pro Bowler. He's an alternate this year and probably missed his opportunity, Dick, when unselfishly he moved to the weak side linebacker to start this season. Dan Connor was playing the middle. Dan Connor gets hurt. Beeson goes back in there, and the reason he did that, Thomas Davis, normally their weak side linebacker, missed the entire season. That probably cost him another Pro Bowl slot.
I don't think there's any doubt about that. Michael Kanan will be punting, and Captain Munnerlyn is back deep for the Carolina Panthers. You know, in this division, it changes dramatically, doesn't it? Fair catch called for by Munnerlyn. We haven't had any back-to-back winners in the NFC South, and we won't this year because the Falcons will make it, and New Orleans won't. Coming up next, our Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader continues with America's Game of the Week. The NFC North champion Bears battle the Packers as Green Bay looks to secure a playoff berth. Or the Giants, Redskins, Cowboys, Eagles, or Cardinals and 49ers. Coverage begins after our game right here on Fox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. So the Falcons will win their first division title since '04. And there you see the different teams in different years. And Carolina has won 2 in the span we showed you. Here is Tyrell Sutton. And Sutton carries it out to the 16 as we approach 8 minutes remaining in the game. And here they are again. Very competitive division it has been for many years.
So many times you have the team that finished last in the division rising up and going to first in the division the next year. I think only one time that has not happened where last has gone to first. It's not going to happen again this year. With Atlanta now winning the division, they didn't finish last year.
And in the last 4 years, each team has had a chance in winning this division. 2nd down and 5. Sutton. And Sutton will go out of bounds. You know, we were talking about, you mentioned Jim Harbaugh out at Stanford. Well, Mike Mularkey, is the offensive coordinator here in Atlanta. We're just throwing out names here because that's the kind of game we play at the end of the season. Mike Mularkey has had a chance to develop Matt Ryan. Well, if the Carolina Panthers get a quarterback, there would be someone.
And someone who has head coaching experience in the NFL, former head coach of the Buffalo Bills. And the other part is, if you take him as your head coach, you're essentially hurting the Atlanta Falcons by taking their offensive coordinator from them.
3rd and 3. And Clausen throws it out of bounds. Pressure by Jamal Anderson.
Showed a little strength there, didn't he? Talk about Jimmy Clausen. And what I mean by that is in the pocket, being corralled, had the presence of mind to understand where he could throw the football and it not be picked off, and gets it out of bounds. Pretty well done by the rookie, under duress.
Speaking of rookies, as Weems goes back, you got LaFell and Geddes, who certainly have potential, and Clowney and maybe Armani Edwards. You have a couple of good running backs in Stewart and Goodson. So this team is certainly got some players to build around, and they have talent.
And you bring back that defense, might not be as far off as people may think with a 2-14 team.
I agree with you. And the fair catch by Weems at the 28. 7 Pro Bowlers for the Atlanta Falcons, and that's more than any other team in the National Football League. And for more on that, let's send it down to Jamie Maggio.
All right, Dick, thank you. Well, they made the Pro Bowl announcement on Tuesday, and the Falcons were watching game film. They had no idea that those 7 players had been selected. They were so focused on preparing for this game today, and while they are honored to be selected to the Pro Bowl, they're kind of hoping they can respectfully decline the offer, as the Pro Bowl does take place 1 week before the Super Bowl. Charles, Dick, back to you guys.
That's good stuff, Jamie, that this team is focused and locked in, but don't think for a second they didn't really know. All right, I mean, they can tell you they didn't know. Trust me, some people were texting them, right? People were letting them know. They knew the day of the announcement. They've just done a good job of staying in the moment and trying to win a division title.
Jason Snelling, second effort, getting 9 yards. So a banner year all the way around for the Atlanta Falcons, and what a job by Mike Smith. Took over a team and improved it by 7 games and got into the playoffs in 08. And he was an assistant with the Jacksonville Jaguars under Mike Del Rio. Nobody really, not a household name by any chance. And that's why there are coaches around who are on staffs who have a chance and need a chance, may not have a big name to be head coaches, and they succeed.
Many thought that he might continue to get overlooked as a head coach because he's not a self-promoter. Doesn't put himself out there as that guy. But when you get around him, you realize the substance, you understand the acumen, and the best part is how he builds relationships with people. And that's why this Falcons team has gone on and done what it's done. They've gotten the talent. He and Thomas Dimitroff, the GM, they coach them very, very well. But these guys, you mentioned it earlier, Mike Peterson said it, same guy every day. We respect the heck out of him. There's Thomas Dimitroff in the blue shirt, the general manager, next to Rich McKay, who's the president of the Atlanta Falcons. What they've done in putting all this together has been phenomenal in terms of player talent, but it's the touch of Mike Smith and these guys responding to him. That's why that man is a happy man today, the owner and CEO of the Atlanta Falcons, Mr. Arthur Blank.
1st and 10, and Gartrell Johnson. And Arthur Blank was named the owner of the year, and Mike Smith coach of the year in the Terry Awards issued here. And there is Arthur Blank down on the field. And I think when you're an owner, you can own, which means you can come down on the field and you can see your players on the sideline. We know Jerry Jones has done it for many years, and he doesn't interfere, we know this, with the operation of the club himself. But what's the use if you can't go down there and say job well done?
And it's always nice when you know who's running your franchise. When they know you, you know them.
Johnson with the carry.
It's a good thing, you know, at a personal level. I bet you he can go to each one of these guys, ask them about their wives, their families, you know, how their holidays were, if they have any issues, any problems. These guys know they can go and talk to people, whether it's Mike Smith, Thomas Dimitroff, Arthur Blank, and try and get these things worked out. This is a good locker room the Atlanta Falcons have.
And I don't know, I mean, you brought up some things. I don't know whether Mike Smith is totally happy with everything going into the playoffs. That's going to be behind closed doors that he's going to work with his team. But this club came out today and didn't give the Panthers a chance. And this is what outstanding teams do.
They jumped on him early, got him down into a position where he could take some gambles. Nothing worked against them. And now they're going on as the division champs and will have home field throughout the playoffs.
On 3rd and 9, the pass to Johnson. Stopped by Corby Urban. And 4th down coming up with 3:31 to go.
There's
Brian Van Gorder. Now, he deserves a load of credit for improving what a lot of people thought was the weak point of this team, the defense.
You know, it's interesting. They had the Chick-fil-A Bowl in here the other night, okay? And South Carolina was in that bowl game. Brian Van Gorder had accepted the job as defensive coordinator of South Carolina under Steve Spurrier when the Falcons called him back and said, hey, we want you to come back and run our defense. I'm not sure how long he was at South Carolina, a week, maybe 2. And he came back to the Falcons to run their defense. That's one of the best phone calls they've made. This is a defense that's getting better and better as this season ends.
Michael Kanan will be kicking to Captain Munnerlyn. Backing up, and Munnerlyn will let it drop, and it will roll into the end zone for a touchback. 3:21 to go in the game. In a 31-3 game, so the Atlanta Falcons, who lost to these 3 teams, the Saints here, the Eagles and Steelers on the road. In fact, we did the Steelers' defeat of Atlanta in the opening game, and they could face these teams in a possible postseason scenario. The Saints in the divisional playoff, it would be here. The NFC Championship against the Eagles, which would be here. And, of course, the Super Bowl in Dallas on Fox. And it could be the Steelers. Well, you know, you could just speculate and dream, but that's what Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons can possibly look forward to, avenging those defeats. And a timeout called by the Falcons. It has been the second now. Personnel problem. So you can be up 31-3 and nailing down number 1 and home field throughout. And you could be upset with procedural problems, Charles.
This is what you noted a little while ago. You're not sure how happy he is about everything that happened today, because they will coach all the way through, because they understand one error can cost you come playoff time, but they are in a spot that every other team in the NFC would like to be in, the number 1 seed as they go on into the playoffs.
And the first number 1 seed since it started in 1990, first for this franchise. 3:21 to go, and taking over, Jimmy Clausen. And Clausen's pass out to Geddes, and he's picks up about 8.5 yards with Robinson. So how good do you think the Atlanta Falcons are? How good is this team?
I think they're as good as anyone in the NFC. Now, they've earned where they are by record, by play, you name it, they've earned it. But I'm not sure that in this season that anyone in the NFC is dominant enough that when you go into the locker room and the head coach says to his team, we're going to play the Falcons, or we're going to play the Bears, or we're going to play the Eagles, that those teams don't believe that they can go and beat those teams. That's why it's so competitive. That's why getting home field was so important to the Falcons, where they only lost 1 game this year here in the Dome. It's not going to be easy for anyone to beat them, but it's not the '85 Bears where everyone went, Coach, we can't beat them. That's what I think about this Falcons team.
Geddes gets 7 yards on the play. And the pass incomplete to Clowney, and now for a game break, here's Kurt Menefee.
When you guys are done, more games with playoff implications. The Bears at the Packers, a Green Bay victory. They are in the playoffs. If you don't get that one, most of your fans will get the Giants, who, if Green Bay loses and the Giants win, will get to the playoffs themselves. Regardless, we'll keep you updated on all the playoff positioning as we go down the stretch. Dick and Charles?
All right, Kurt, and big games yet to play. 2:15 to go here, and 31-3, and Tyrell Sutton with the carry, and that'll get us down to the 2-minute warning as the Carolina Panthers, who lost 9 days ago to the Pittsburgh Steelers 27-3, trailing here 31-3. It's been an all Atlanta show from the very start. They scored the first 21 points, rolling to be the best in the NFC. We'll be back. 2 minutes to go in the game, and Mike Smith just doused on the sideline. He just wants it one more time, right?
Yeah, when it really truly counts for them. This is a great accomplishment, but this team has bigger goals in mind with the way they've played all year long.
Jimmy Clausen. And throws complete to Tyrell Sutton. It was a 3rd and 2 play, and that'll be a first down at the 48-yard line as Carolina Panthers coming in the game last in the league in scoring. They have averaged under 12.5 points a game, have 3 in this one. And it is the final 152 of John Fox's head coaching career here in Carolina. He has been great to us. He has been a terrific head coach in his relationship with us. Players have liked him. He was the defensive coordinator with the Giants, and will be moving on. First down. Clausen goes down thanks to Parade Jerry.
We just saw the shot. Nice rush by Parade Jerry, who they use in 3rd down situations. But we just saw the shot of John Fox smiling on the sidelines, and people would say, how can you be smiling? You're down 31-3. I have a feeling the guys are talking in his ear, his coaching staff, maybe some memories, maybe some funny jokes on the way out the door. You know, that's the only reason he's smiling. It's his last game, kind of like, hey, we did the best we could. He took this team to a Super Bowl within 3 points of a world championship. Not a bad job in 9 years. 2nd and 9, not at all, as Rosario makes the catch, but the Panthers will finish at 2-14, and their worst record since they were 1-15 in 2001, the year before John Fox came onto the scene. But you know, sometimes, and there are a lot of coaches say, you know, after about 9 years, time to move on. Teams need to hear a new voice, and the Panthers will be hearing a new voice and perhaps having one of those glittering young quarterbacks to build around next year. Getting hit is Clausen as he completes to Brandon LaFell, and with 38 seconds to go, the clock stops, and LaFell going out of bounds at the 33. In a 31-3 game. So there it is, the well-deserved cap. NFC South champions are the Falcons. And New Orleans won it last year. The Saints trailing 23-13. And if we have time, we'll take you to bonus coverage of the Bucks and the Saints. And with Tampa Bay winning now 23-13, it means so much for them, because a victory there and a loss by the Packers and Giants coming up next in America's Game of the Week on Fox, and the Bucks will make the playoffs. Here's David Clowney with the reception and gets down to the 1, and with under a half a minute to go, the question is, can the Panthers get a touchdown in this game? And they will call a timeout, and there is Arthur Blank. Welcome to our world, says the coach. That's an expensive suit, though. I hope you're in really good standing with the team when you hit the owner with the water. He better be in a really good mood. You know, that could hurt you at negotiation time.
That's right. Especially if he says, let me look at the tape and see who did that.
Let's break out the tape.
Yeah, Matt Ryan all around him. Here's the pass.
David Clowney, the former New York Jet, known more as a special teams guy there, trying to continue to develop as a receiver. Earlier in the game, he broke loose and got tripped up by the 10-yard line. This time they actually had to tackle him, and the Panthers trying to get a touchdown to close things out.
There's the owner and the coach. They won Terry's Awards today, and here is Clausen, touchdown to Jeff King. Jeff King with a little dance himself as the Panthers score a touchdown with 23 seconds left in the game. And season they like to forget. John Fox says he's going to move on, get on to Florida and see what comes next in his career. And the Panthers as a team, and 2 years ago they won the division title, and there is no question that they need the quarterback. And John Casey, 41 years old with the extra point, and it's 31-10, 23 seconds left to the Carolina season, but not for the Falcons season, to say the least.
It's just now 23 seconds away from moving forward for the Falcons. And you know, that last piece of tape, that last bit of offense, Mike Smith, Brian Van Gorder will break that out and say, see, you guys relax. These are the things that can happen as they try to progress. But the good thing for them, they get a week off now. They don't have to play the first weekend. And anything that happens in the NFC has to come through Atlanta. And that's a nice feeling. And I know this, Dick, in recent years, the #1 seed home field advantage hasn't been the overwhelming difference it was in prior years, in prior decades. But it's a big deal to every team to be able to rest the first week, have their first playoff game at home, and hopefully all of them at home. They'd much rather take their chances at home than anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you've lost only one game, you've been dominant here. It's an indoor facility, the Georgia Dome. And, you know, you got to go back. Remember Petrino and the tough stories with Michael Vick before things got turned around in that department. This team was in the basement, no question about it. The Atlanta Falcons were as low as you could get. And then Mike Smith came aboard, and all the rest came into play, and Matt Ryan as well. And whistle blows. And the Falcons calling a timeout.
They want to make sure they're situated for the expected onside kick.
That's their third and final timeout for Atlanta. Matt Ryan out of Boston College. You saw him play his college ball, and everyone kind of knew he had the smarts, the decision making. Had an off year for him last year, came back strong this year.
And what you learned about him is that even on days where his stats didn't overwhelm you, even on days where it was a tough go for him, you wanted him late in the ball game. You wanted him in the fourth quarter. Thomas Dimitrov, the GM you see facing us now, saw that. Rich McKay, the president of the team, with his back to us, he saw that. They saw him, BC, Virginia Tech, in the rain. He got it done.
Onside kick right here, and it goes out of bounds. And two flags come down. It did not go.
On the kicking team, by rule, the ball be placed
10 yards.
First and 10.
Kick went out of bounds by Reese Lloyd. And 23 seconds left.
They had to put Roddy White back on the field for the hands team. You notice he'd already given his gloves away. He was out there. Oh, you really need me again? And now the crowd rises in approval and applause for their division champs, their #1 seed.
And a big year for Atlanta. The Atlanta Braves getting into postseason in baseball, and a revival of sorts for Atlanta sports teams. And Chris Redmond will end it all right here. The Atlanta Falcons defeating the Carolina Panthers 31-10 as John Fox and Mike Smith meet at midfield. Fox's last game, and that'll do it. For Charles Davis, Jamie Maggio, Dick Stockton saying so long. Right now, here's Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles with the AT&T Game Break Show.